Hello, everyone, and welcome to this March 13th webinar, Preparing for Spring and Summer Activities. Today, I'm joined by a great team. If you logged in a little early, you heard Brian and Jody and myself. We were talking about some creative uses for the activities module, so we're happy to share some of those with you. I am Rachel Cox. I've been at JMC for about a year. I am on the support to training team, and I'll pass it to Brian to introduce himself.
Thanks, Rachel. I'm Brian Wall. I joined the JMC team last summer after 34 years in education, 10 as a high school math teacher, and then the last 24 as a secondary principal.
Thanks, Brian. And Jody, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, my name is Jody Schott, and I live up in the Bringer Lakes area, and I was an office manager for a charter school in Cross Lake for just over 21 years, and I've been with JMC going on, I think, year 2, and I am a CSS, and I help with report cards.
Thanks, Jody. And it looks like Denise Drew popped in at the last minute. Denise, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Denise Drew, and I've been working for JMC for about 2 years now. And I used to work as a secretary at the Lanesboro School District. So happy to be here. Thanks.
All right, we got the A team today. Okay, get set and go. JMC's activity module serves as a comprehensive tool for planning and managing all of your school's diverse activities, ranging from basketball to musicals and beyond. Use JMC's activities module for a seamless start to your spring and summer activities. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in that Q&A feature. And at the end of each of our sections in the webinar, we will address those questions as they come in. So we'll start here with granting coaches and advisors access to JMC. Adding coaches and advisors in the activities module lets you easily associate them with their activities, granting them access to a variety of functions within JMC, including the JMC Coach Advisor mobile app. Administrators and office professionals can easily create and edit coaches and advisors, allowing them access to rosters, attendance, and even message the students associated with their activities. So to define coaches and advisors for your activities, you go to Activities, Edit Activity, Coach/Advisor in JMC Office. The first thing you want to do is click Add Coach Advisor, the Add Coach Advisor button, to begin adding that new coach or advisor into your JMC database. The next step is to place a check mark in the JMC teacher checkbox to access a drop-down list of teachers if that new coach or advisor you're entering is already a teacher in your system. So if you just click this checkbox here, you'll get a drop-down list, and it'll have all of the teachers in your building. And once you select one, all of this information will automatically populate. So you get to kind of skip ahead to the next step. And that's what our helpful tip is here. Having those the teacher information there just saves you a bit of time. Step 3, enter the coach or advisor's information in the appropriate fields to create credentials for a new JMC user who's not already in the system. Fun fact, new JMC users will use the username and password entered in the corresponding fields to easily log into the JMC Coach Advisor mobile app. So that's a good thing to remember. Whatever username you create here for that coach or advisor and whatever password you create for them, make sure that they know that those are the credentials that they'll need for that app. Then you go ahead and click the update button to save your coach or advisor, or you can click the cancel button to discard those changes. So we can take a quick look here at adding coaches and advisors to your activities module. Okay, so from my JMC homepage, I'm going to come to Activities and Edit Activity Coach Advisor. So here's a list of the coaches that I have already in my system, my coaches or advisors. So to add a new one, I just click that Add button here. And this is what I was telling you about. If you click this checkbox, then you get a list of all of your teachers. As we were talking about a little bit before the webinar began, there are more and more coaches who are working for schools who are not already in your school district as teachers or whatever. So making sure that you give them, put their information in here, that username and that password are really important. That's what'll give them the access in the coach and mobile app, or the coach's mobile app, which we're going to look at in just a little bit, but it's a really handy tool. It's a great way for coaches and advisors to have communication, kind of seamless communication with the school office, have information on student absences, making sure that they're checking eligibility. So you want to make sure to set your coaches and advisors up for success by getting them in your system here to begin with. Do we have any questions coming in on how to add a coach or an advisor to your database?
No questions.
All right. Then we'll keep moving ahead. And we're going to talk about the app that I have been previewing here. Accessing JMC's Coach Advisor app. It's easy to stay connected to the school and students on your roster with the Coach Advisor app, regardless of whether or not you're a teacher or administrator in the district. View student schedules, attendance, contact information, and send internal and external messages right from the palm of your hand. To get started, all you have to do is download the app and log in. So the first thing you want to do is download the app, which is free. So you can go to Google Play or the App Store, and you can download the JMC Coach Advisor for free. Then the first step is to tap on that icon to open it up on your mobile device, and then enter your school's 4-digit mobile PIN code, which the school office can provide for you. Next, you want to tap the Save button if the displayed school name and address is correct. So you just want to make sure that's the school you intended to add. Then you go ahead and hit Save. If this information is incorrect, hit Reset, and then just try to enter that mobile PIN again. Enter your username and password in the appropriate fields to log into the app. And then we'll look a little bit more at some of those features in the app. Coaches, activities directors, and advisors can take advantage of JMC right from their smartphones, even if they aren't a teacher or administrator in the district. Never be caught in an emergency situation without important contact information again. With the Coach Advisor app, users can view student contact information and schedules of the students on their rosters and access important communication tools that will help them easily contact parents and family members in any situation. So you can view your student rosters here, starting here with this roster icon. If you click on that, you can view all of the students who are on the roster for your activity. You can check out their birthdays. You would have access to their email addresses. You can see the primary contacts who are associated with that student, and you can even look at their daily schedules. Using this messaging tool right here, coaches and advisors, office professionals, administrators, they'll love the open communication lines available through the Coach Advisor app. These features include sending emails to primary contacts and students, making phone calls directly from the app, send mass emails, text messages, and voice to text directly from the app, viewing external communications in JMC Office, utilize the internal communication module to keep the office in the know. And this, I think, the viewing external communications in JMC Office is what's really great about the Coach Advisor app. It allows anyone using JMC Office to view that external communication log, and it will show communication sent, from coaches to players, from coaches to parents, so that coaches are maybe protected a little bit more that way. Anything you want to add to that one, Brian, Denise, or Jody?
No, I think that the importance of that log that's created is really essential, and in the day and age that we live in right now, and just looping more than just the student in on that communication, the ability to hit their parents at the same time, and maybe even include an administrator or an AD.
Absolutely.
The other thing is the fact that they can't respond to it. It's kind of a nice thing. So it's a one-way communication.
Yes, absolutely. I would agree with that, Jody. Thanks for adding. All right, and then we'll also look at attendance, checking attendance on the Coach Advisor app. You can stay up to date with important school attendance information that could impact the team you're fielding. You can see the students on your roster who are absent for a day. You can plan practice and events according to student availability. So it'll default to the current date, but you can go back and look at any amount of time. So if you have a rule on your team that students need to be at 3 practices prior to competition in order to be able to compete, you can easily take a look at that. And then some more attendance details here. You can view attendance for your entire roster by date, or if you click on students on the roster, then you can look at their individual attendance. You can see which periods they might be absent from and whether or not those absences were excused. All right. Do we have any questions about using the Coach Advisor app?
No questions. We can keep on moving.
Thanks, Jody. All right, creating activities and rosters. Entering your activities in JMC. Creating student activities is the perfect way to manage fine arts, athletics, or any group of students in your school who are associated with an adult. Name your activity, associate a coach or advisor, and utilize special features like including the activity on transcripts or associating physical, concussion awareness, and or parent permission for easily running compliance reports. Create activities groups to make quick work of roster management and communication in JMC. So the first thing to do here is add a new activity. Start creating student activities in JMC Office by heading to Activities, Edit Activity Definitions. The first step is to add an activity, and then you'll want to enter the number. So you give your activity a code, something that you can easily identify it by. And then you want to go ahead and give that activity a name. Step 4, you can choose to include it on the transcript if you want to. And a helpful tip, you can enter a name of the advisor in the advisor field here to note the advisor or coach associated. But I'll show you there's also a step where you add that coach or advisor here, which will give them access to the roster information and everything like that. Step 5, enter the oldest acceptable date in the physical exam date, parent permission date, and concussion awareness date fields, or simply click the calendar icon to utilize the compliance reporting feature in the activities module. Helpful tip, remove the check mark from the active checkbox to make an activity inactive if that activity is not going to be offered in your current school year. Fun fact, inactive activities will be hidden from the Coach Advisor mobile app to keep active rosters front and center. Step 6, select a fee using the activity fee drop-down list if a fee from the tuition and fees module is charged to students in this activity. Step 7, you can enter an iCal URL to link your calendar for your event right here. It's super handy. Helpful tip, you can head to File, Integrations, and place a check mark in the Enabled checkbox for the iCal integration to display the iCal link field in the Activities module. A fun fact, associating an iCal link with an activity will import an activity schedule from an online calendar automatically into the File Event Scheduler nightly to save you time. Then you want to go ahead and click that Save button to save your activity. Once you've saved the overall activity, that's when you start adding your coach or advisor. So you'll click the Add Coach Advisor here to associate an adult with your activity. Not seeing your coach or advisor in the drop-down list, you can go back and repeat the steps that we went through to add that coach or advisor on the Activities, Edit Activity, Coach Advisor page. You can include administrators, activities directors, or assistant coaches on the activity rosters, ensuring that they stay in the loop for all emails and text messages sent to the group. So right in here, it doesn't only have to be a coach. You can add administrators, anyone else that might be associated with that activity or want to be involved in any communication or whatnot that takes place. Step 10, enter a description in the position field to define the coach or advisor's role. Step 11, click the Save button to save that coach or advisor to the activity, or you can click the Cancel button to discard those changes. So let's take a live look at entering an activity in JMC. Okay, so I'm in the Activities module and I come down to Edit Activity Definitions. So I can add a new activity here, and I'll want to start with putting in that 3-digit code. Well, we're getting ready for our spring and summer activities, so we will say that we are making a spring play. And I can include that on the transcript if I want to, or I can choose not to. That is up to you to decide. I can type in an advisor here if I'd like to. I will add myself as the advisor. For a spring play, my students probably wouldn't need a physical exam. Parent permission. Sure, why not? We'd like to have permission by March 4th. I probably also don't need concussion awareness testing dates. It is active. And if there was a fee associated with this, with many activities, there are fees associated. You can set that fee up in your tuition and fees module so that you can come down here and select a fee to attach to it. I'm going to go ahead and save my changes. And that allows me then to come in and add a coach advisor here. So I'm going to look for myself. I can put in position that I'm going to be the director of the play, and then save it. And I am now associated with that activity. I can use my credentials to see my roster and everything on that mobile app that we went through. Any questions on adding activities?
No questions.
Okay. Then we'll move on to creating commendations. Activities directors and office professionals can utilize JMC to track when participants in activities receive special commendations. Define commendations such as all conference, all state, or team captain to easily attach students to an activity and award. Commendations can then be displayed on student transcripts to help provide the full student scope of achievements. Define commendations in JMC Office under activities, edit special commendations. The first thing that you're going to want to do is click the add record link to add a new special commendation to your list, which I'll show you in the live look. And step 2, enter a 1 to 4 character code in the code field for internal use. Next, enter the name of the honor in the commendation field, for example, first team all conference or varsity letter winner. And then click the update link to save your changes, or click the cancel link to discard. Helpful tip, click the edit link next to an existing commendation to edit the entry, or click the delete link to remove it. Step 5, click the print button to print a list of all your special commendations for future reference. And then once you have the commendations entered, then you go ahead and associate them with the specific activities. Since many commendations such as all conference or team captain are prevalent across multiple activities, JMC provides a quick and easy solution for associating common honors or awards with an activity. Simply choose an activity and select the commendations from the available commendations list to associate honors with an activity. Once commendations are associated with activities, they can be awarded to the standout student on an activity roster. So from our activities module, we go to activities, commendations to associate commendations with activities. Step 1, select an activity from the activities box to view and edit the associated commendations. Next step, select a commendation from the available commendations box to associate it with the selected activity, or select a commendation from the commendations for this activity box to remove its association with the activity. So you've got your activities here. You choose the one that you want to add commendations for. Once you've selected it, then you have all these available commendations that you can select, and you'll see which ones are already associated with your activity. Step 3, click the print button to print the activities commendation page for future reference. If you're not seeing the commendation you're looking for in the available commendations box, head back to activities, edit special commendations to add it to your list. So we'll take a live look here at creating commendations and adding them to activities. So in our activities module, I'm going to come to edit special commendations. This is where I can edit one that already exists, or I can add a new one. So if I want to make sure that I am recognizing team managers, I can make a commendation for that. I can click update, and I already have that commendation in my database. So I don't need to add it again. So I'll cancel, knowing that it's already in there. But once you have this list looking the way that you want it, you come in here to activities, commendations, you choose your activity here. So I'll maybe choose bowling. I've got captain, and let's see here. In bowling, you can also be a letter winner. I think that this process is so nice for keeping all of these awards organized, and you'll see a little bit later how you can run lists. I'm always amazed at our school's activities department, how they can have, captain awards, state participants, all of those awards at the end of a season ready to go for each of the students. JMC just helps you keep those lists organized so that all of those students who earn those special honors can be recognized. Do you have any questions on adding commendations?
Nope, there's no questions.
Okay, so the next thing we'll do is move on to talking about placing students in activities. But maybe before we get too far, one thing I forgot to mention as we were talking about adding our activities, I'll just come back here to my demo database. As we're talking about adding activities, one thing that our team was talking about before this webinar started is different ways that you can think about activities and how they don't have to be limited to sports. So the school that I worked at was an elementary. We had preschool through 6, but we had before and after school childcare. So we would create an activity that was kids club, and students who participated in our kids club, we would put them in kids club activity. And then our kids club supervisors would be those coaches or advisors, so that when they're out on the playground with those kiddos till 5:30, if somebody falls and gets hurt, or if they need to contact a parent for whatever reason, they had that information right at their fingertips, rather than having to come in, go to the school office, get it from whoever might still be there at the end of the day, hoping that they're not in a staffing meeting, or just hoping someone is available to get them that information that they need. So having that information right at their fingertips for something like before and after school care is a creative way to use the activities module. Anything else that I'm missing that we covered before the webinar started, Brian or Jody?
You want to show them where to get that PIN number?
The PIN number, of course I want to show them where to get the PIN number. Okay, so there's a couple of different spots. And now I'm going to probably screw this up, Denise, now that you put me on the spot. I'm going to come down to JMC Family and Family App Settings. Whew, I did it. Right here at the top, you have that mobile PIN, but there's another place as well. And this would be, I have to log out for that, right, Denise?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
I'll answer for her.
Okay, the other place, so you can come to your family app settings and find your mobile PIN here. Otherwise, if I log all the way out, when you go to log in,
You have to make sure you're on the district school.
level. Okay, so I'm going to come to my district building. There we go. It's like, that is not lining up. When you have the district selected here, then you see this client number is the same as that mobile PIN.
And
Okay.
that would be true in all of the portals, correct? So if a parent already has, is used to using JMC Family, they can go to that portal login and see that PIN at that location.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Denise, for keeping me on my toes. Okay, we will head back to our presentation here and look at adding those students to those rosters. Activities directors and front office professionals can keep track of the students involved in activities by creating activities rosters. Once students are added to rosters, you can run lists to see all the students involved in activities, keep track of who's eligible, list special commendations for students, and utilize messaging features. Plus, the option to import your rosters from a previous year will streamline the process and save you a ton of time. So to get started, you want to go to activities, edit activities rosters. The first thing you do is select an activity from the available activities box to begin adding students to that roster. Helpful tip, if this activity was offered last year, you can just select your activity, come down here to import previous year's rosters, and that will load all active students from the prior year's activity roster into the current year's activity roster. Step 2, enter a name in the find field or select one or more names from the list of available students to add the students to the activities rosters. And you can narrow down that list of students by grade or by gender. So if you are trying to make, say, an 8th grade girls basketball team, super simple, narrow your search to 8th grade and female, and then you can just see a list of those active students. The next step is to click the Add Students button to add the selected students to the activities roster. Click the edit link next to a student's name to update eligibility status, add a commendation, or associate a comment with the student. Step 5, place a check mark in the is eligible box to mark the student as academically or behaviorally eligible for the activity, or remove the check mark to mark the student as ineligible. Helpful tip, need to mark a student as eligible or ineligible due to health reasons, you can head to health history, edit student health history page. This is where you would select the commendation that would be attached to that student in the activity. If you're not seeing that commendation, again, you can head to activities, edit special commendations to add or edit the special commendations on that list. Add any comments that you might need. I know I coach swimming and I have a lot of students who need to have an inhaler on deck. So that's nice to know as a coach that I can double check when they come in. Step 8, click the update link to save your edits or the cancel link to discard them. Helpful tip: to remove a student from an activities roster due to an error, or if the student quits the activity, click the delete link next to the student's name. Step 9, click the print button to print your activity roster or export it to a CSV file. So we'll take a live look at placing students in activities. All right, so I come to my activities module, edit student activities. Actually, edit my activities roster. Sorry, I went to the wrong one. Edit my activities roster. Here is a list of all of my activities. So I'm going to click that spring play that we added. I must not have saved my commendation. Oh, I went to bowling, didn't I? I don't have any available commendations. So if I wanted to add commendations to my activities, I would just have to come here to tie commendations to those activities. And let's say spring play, it's going to be only available for high schoolers. So I'm going to maybe start with 9th grade if I wanted to narrow it down. Or if I have a list of the students who are interested, I can just type in those names here. I'm going to add a few students. I'm going to do command click so that I can add more than one at a time. And then I'm going to go ahead and click add students. This is where I get them all onto that roster. And now if there are students who I need to update their information here, I go ahead and click edit. I can remove this if they're academically ineligible. I can keep it in there. If they are. I've got Francis here. I can add commendations once I tie them to my activity. And then if there were any special comments, I could go ahead and enter them there. We could take a quick look at health eligibility. That is in the health module and health history, edit student health history. So if I take a look at Francis, who is the student that we were just looking at, I can come in here, click add row. And if I choose return to play participate, this is where I could change that date and say that if I put this out that she's not able to return to play until 3:15 and I update this, if I come back to my roster, and I take a look at my spring play, I'll see here that she has a health ineligibility. So that's how you can work with the health office to make sure that students who've maybe had an injury, had a concussion, are coming back when it's appropriate for them. Any questions on adding student rosters?
Nope, no questions.
Okay.
I know we're just looking at the office side of it, but just on the app side, the coach or director or sponsor does have the ability to add or delete people off the roster as well. So the burden's not entirely on your office staff.
Yes, great point. Thanks for bringing that up, Brian. You can add or remove students from your roster on the app. If the students are marked ineligible as well, that does show up on the app too. So you'll see ineligible next to their name. It doesn't say whether it's grade related or health related. So there might need to be a little bit of follow up there, but you would see if a student is allowed to practice or compete on that day. Okay. Next, we'll talk about running activities reports. After defining activities and adding students to activities rosters, activities directors and office professionals will be able to run a variety of reports from physical compliance to special commendations. See which students have turned in parent permission forms, when physicals are due to expire, and get a list of all your first team all conference performers by running these reports in JMC Office. In JMC Office, head to Activities, Activity Query to get started. Step 1, select a radio button in the Query Type box to run one of the following reports. So the first one up is Activity Compliance. You can view a student's most recent physical date, parent permission status, and concussion awareness status as defined on the Health History, Edit Student Health History page. Looking at Physical Compliance, view students who do not have a valid physical listed on that Health History page. as of the date listed in the physical cutoff date. So when we were adding those activities a few steps ago, and you put in that physical activity, parent permission cutoff dates, that's where you would add those cutoff dates. And then these reports view who is eligible based on those dates that are associated with the activity. So if the starting date and physical cutoff date is 1/1 and the compliance report is run on 1/1 of the following year, only students who do not have a physical within that window will be listed in the compliance report. Set the physical cutoff date in accordance with how long student physicals are valid in your state. For example, if a physical is valid for 1 year, enter the physical cutoff date as 1 year prior to the current date. Parent permission compliance, you can view students who do not have a valid parent permission listed on the health history edit student health history page. Enter the starting date in the permission cutoff date field to view students who do not have parent permission recorded in JMC after that date. And then you can run physical, parent permission, and concussion awareness, all three of them on one report. And it allows you to put all of those cutoff dates, or the cutoff date for each one of those. But that would be the most comprehensive report so that you could view all three of those at one time. Special commendations, we talked about this a little bit. You can view a list of participants along with any commendation they have received for the listed activity. Compliance, concussion awareness, view students who do not have up-to-date concussion awareness information listed on the health history, edit student health history page. The concussion awareness cutoff date sets the compliance threshold, and any student who does not have concussion awareness recorded listed after that date will be displayed on the report. And then the return to play, view a list of students who are ineligible to participate due to health reasons, along with the date that they're eligible to return. Then you can view your report by clicking the preview button, or you can print a hard copy or save it to as a PDF to your computer by clicking the print button. So we can take a live look at running permissions reports. So if we come to our activities module, all the way to the bottom, our activity query, we have a list of all of those different types of reports that you can run. I'm going to click on this return to play since we just added someone to that list. And I actually have 2 students. So Francis is who we just added. And then we also see James can return on 4/1. So easy way to keep all of your information associated with your students who are in activities, keep those organized. Running those reports will help keep coaches in the know of who's eligible, who's not eligible, who's compliant, and so forth. Any questions on our activity reports?
Nope, no questions.
All right. Brian, Jody, or Denise, anything that we want to add before we start wrapping this webinar up?
I just think, Paul, our fearless leader, says often that somebody's keeping track of all of these things, maybe multiple somebodies in a lot of different ways. But with JMC Office and the activities module, you really have the ability, like you said, to keep everything all in one place and push that important information out to the coaches and directors, the people that are meeting face to face with those kids, to make sure that you're in compliance with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like you said, there's one person, maybe multiple people using that Coach Advisor app, being able to help manage your roster. That takes some of the pressure off the office as well, because the coaches and advisors, they know best who's participating, who's coming to practices, those types of things. They know the kids that should be on those rosters. So it's a good way to kind of share the load of that work as well. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, then we will wrap it up by looking at some JMC news and upcoming events. So the 3rd week of March, we have utilizing the features of JMC's collaboration tools, and our March MCCC Ed5 work session. I'm always afraid I'm going to have too many C's or not enough C's when I talk about this MCCC. The 4th week of March, we're going to be looking at scheduling, specifically the scheduling aid, conflicts, reports, and helpful tools to master schedule building in 24-25, and then utilizing the features of JMC's refreshed new family enrollment portal. Kicking off April, we're going to talk about tags, using tags to differentiate your students. And the 2nd week of April, we are going to hold our third MCCC EdFi reporting session and talking about connecting with contacts in JMC. Rolling out soon, our refreshed new family enrollment. Is enrollment turning into a flurry of paperwork? Then you could use our refreshed new family enrollment portal. From 24/7, 365 enrollment access to registration collection templates. It's packed with ways to cut down on data entry and make families feel welcome. If you'd like a tour of the new portal, reach out to training@jmcinc.com. And this new family enrollment portal, it helps office staff because it puts the power in parents' hands. They can put that information into the new family enrollment portal. They know that they're going to spell their kids' names right. They're going to have the right address, all that information. It helps with accuracy and then cut down that paperwork for your front office staff. And our winter check-in calls are coming in hot. Coming to a phone near you, our CSS team, they'll be calling your school soon to ensure you've got the JMC training and support you need to be successful. Also included a rundown of the latest JMC events and innovations. Speaking of those, have you heard about our robust new community messenger portal? You can get to know this all-in-one tool. I'll be sending this webinar out to you. If you click on the PDF, you can click on this link to get more information on that community messenger portal. And our sizzling June conferences. This year, we're getting a head start on all the fun. Join us in Minnesota on June 18th. At Plymouth Community Center in Iowa on June 20th at the FFA Center for JMC Learnings, a raffle, and the chance to win a pipe and hot pizza party for your school. More details will be coming out soon. And on behalf of myself, Brian, Denise, Jody, the wonderful team that I had today, thank you so much for attending this webinar, and thank you for choosing JMC.